I am Ria Flanagan, and welcome to the Happiness Playbook series. I'm so glad you're here to join me today and, um, you know, being transparent in my journey, just, marketing my book and then starting this podcast for all of you because I'm really enjoying connecting and sending out things that you guys can benefit from, and some pieces and tips from my book and techniques and practices, daily practices to increase happiness levels. Today, I woke up a little sad and I took some time to myself, really like mindfully assessing what's going on. Notice the date, it's 9/11, big, terrorism attack in the United States. I remember it well. I remember being confused. I remember having fear, so much grief in this country. People lost their families, people lost their lives. It was a horrific moment. And every year at this time, I have the sadness that comes up. And sometimes it's like, whoa, just noticing the date and putting it together, maybe seeing a Facebook post where, someone's talking about it and grieving with all the emotions. As much as we're working on increasing levels of happiness, acknowledging unresolved trauma, grief is a process that it's not 1 year, it's gone. It's been many years. And I still feel grief about that day. And grief comes up in so many ways in my practice treating trauma and addiction. When someone stops using a substance or a process addiction, there's grief about it because that was something that was helping them, even though it was also hindering them. It was something they were using. It was part of their life, the people that were in their life. I was speaking to somebody the other day about it being a very social disease addiction, and it is until it isn't, until the person is isolating and using it. But there's grief about change. So even if we're getting into a new job or we're moving to a new place or starting a new relationship, there's grief about what life was before that. And even being a wife and a mother, and sometimes I have grief about not having any alone. I'm either working, producing, parenting, or seeing clients or doing my doctorate. And there's so many things. Taking these moments to feel the feelings and to process what is coming up, and that global grief or a global fear, or going through a pandemic recently, or just noticing that we all are connected, and we see that through social media, we see that through media, and we're also very influenced by what we're taking in. So when we are, it's an election year, so people are getting very emotional. The debates are very, intense. If we get pulled in, how can we be more part of the solution? Not letting ourselves get pulled in emotionally to other people's battles, and going, how can I be proactive, part of the solution, not let people manipulate me through my emotions. It can be very powerful. Boundaries, having that boundary, not taking things in too much. Today, waking up and noticing my own emotional state. I love these cards, the wisdom cards by Louise Hay. I'm not selling them. I'm just sharing this, something that I love to do. I used to do it with my groups, and just what's coming up. It's taking a moment. It's mindful. Today I am perfect exactly as I am, remembering that all our emotions are part of who we are. When we talk about increasing happiness, ignoring all the other emotions, because we're not one dimensional. In order to be fully human and embrace who we are, we feel all the feelings. It's relatable. It's relatable to others. We don't want to walk around being like, hey, I'm happy all the time. Yeah, yeah. Like usually we're stuffing if that's the case. And somebody that's doing that or acting as if I do everything perfectly. No, we don't. I'm perfect exactly as I am, with all the imperfections, with all the feelings, with all of it. Um, you know, and the back of the card says, if I wait until I become perfect before I love myself, I will waste my whole life. I am already perfect right here and right now. And so even, having one of those days where I felt like, oh, I was late for an appointment, just dropping the ball and realizing, okay, I got to pull back today. Maybe I got to kind of look at, am I trying to do too much? What needs to change? Sometimes sadness can be, I'm not making enough time for my self-care, and having these days where I'm not going to beat myself up for that. We're great where we are in this part of the journey. And so being able to go, okay, how can I be, find solutions so that I'm making enough time, that I'm not, running too hard, too fast, really looking at what do I need